Most parents are very fearful of letting their children with special needs have an independent life. It is the hardest thing for every parent, and I get it. And John, this is my nephew, John McFadden,
Hello.
co-host and in the banner of this YouTube site, and my inspiration for doing this show. Most parents do not raise their children to be as independent as your mother has raised you to be.
Correct.
Do you see that with your friends?
No.
Independence, you don't see that with your friends, people that you used to know from school.
Yeah. No, I don't.
Yeah. And because this was so necessary to you having a full life and being able to make your own decisions, you are now living in your own apartment.
Correct. Yes.
I mean, I'm so happy for you. I can't even tell you. Look at you. You're happy too.
Uh-huh.
How long? How many? Has it been like 5 weeks, I think?
Yeah.
Something
I
like
think
that,
so.
right?
Yeah.
So your mother raised you to be independent. You're the middle child of two other siblings. Of course, you're the best. You know that.
Yes.
And everybody likes you the most.
Yes.
Well, first of all, they like you because you're really nice.
I try.
You succeed. You actually really succeed. You're one of the nicest people. Do you remember in high school how you were a babe magnet?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
You were just like a giant teddy bear. Women, girls came up to you all the time and you were very nice to them.
Yes.
And then in your jobs, when I went to see you in all of your different jobs, you were very popular.
Yes. Absolutely.
So I expect that as you're now living on your own, you're going to be developing a network of friends. Have you kind of started making relationships?
Um, yeah. Yes, yes, I have. Like when like we have bingo every Thursday night, but I haven't went yet. But there's a neighbor named Lou that lives next to me, and he's always asking me if I want to go. So maybe one of these days I'll go to bingo.
John, where is bingo played?
It's like well, there's a in my apartment building, there's 5 floors. There's a top floor, there's a third floor, and then there's a fourth floor, and then a second floor. So bingo is in the second floor, and there's a room that everybody goes into. It's like a community room, and that's where they play bingo. Or they go to like the fire hall, or they'll go somewhere in town to do
Okay,
it.
that's really, really great. All right, so this actually leads me into one of the things I wanted to talk about here, and you and I have kind of touched on it already when we were just personally talking.
Hmm.
Your challenges are reading,
Yes.
writing, and
Yes.
counting.
And counting, yes.
So you've had to set up circumstances, so to speak, to address those areas that you need
Correct.
some help in.
Yes.
Um, One of the things is when you go to the mall, when you go to a store, when you want to buy things, how do you handle that part of it, paying for stuff?
Well, okay, first, I'm in charge of my own bank account. So I look at the bank and see if I have enough money to buy it. And then I have somebody that comes in and helps me. But then I have, when I don't know how to count, I ask, I said, I'm not very good at counting. Can you please help me count how much money that this costs? And the helper will let me sit do that. She lets me do it first, and if I ask her for help, she'll help and
Okay, so
stuff.
let me just explain what he's talking about
Hmm.
is he has a helper. I call it
Hmm.
aide, he calls it helper. Same person from the
Yes.
county. that on certain days at certain times will come and start teaching you things so that you can eventually do on your own,
Correct.
like dealing with money,
Yes.
like cooking,
Yes.
like looking for a job.
Yes. At
Okay.
Hot Topic.
At Hot Topics, of course. You would be the best. You would be the best person at Hot Topics ever.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So just look at this. Numbers and reading. So I said to you, we established the time that we were going to record this. And
Correct.
I was thinking, so how is he going to know what time it is? But you were early. You
I
like
was,
within
yeah.
10. How did you know what time it was? Or how did you deal with this?
Um, what I do is I kind of like, I remembered that you said five, so it was my time, 4:44. And I like to be a little bit early, and just in case if like something would happen, like say that if you had emergency at the office or something, then I like to be early because just in case if it did like d um didn't what's the word, work out, you know.
Okay, but we talked about doing this, recording
Yeah.
this over the weekend. This is during the midweek, but we did. So how did you, was it just memory that you
Mm-hmm.
remembered Tuesday at five
Yep.
o'clock? It was just memory.
Yes.
Okay, so this is interesting because people that write and have calendars blow meetings. How
Yes.
does that happen that you do not blow meetings? You do not blow time?
No, because it's I feel like it's disrespectful for the person that you said that you were gonna promise this special time. That way, like it's like kind of like disrespectful if I say, okay, I'm not gonna do it, but you know what like I'm trying to say, like yeah, basically like that, because I just feel like you should be more respectful of other people's time.
But that in and of itself, thank you for that. That was an
You're welcome.
amazing thing to say. Very amazing. Um, but just we talked about it on Saturday, but you knew when Tuesday was here that
Yes.
you know that you didn't need to write it down. You remembered in your head it was going to be 5 o'clock, and here you are. And then you were early. So
Yes.
I think that was incredible. Okay, so that was your workaround. Instead of writing things down, you remember them.
Correct.
Okay, so that's your workaround. Um, You're going to be 40 years old next month,
Correct.
and you talked about getting an apartment for many years until
Correct.
it became serious around 2 years ago, I think.
Yes, because you were here. It was like Thanksgiving
Well,
time.
no, that I was there at
Oh,
Thanksgiving last year when you got the call
oh, yeah,
that
that
there was an
call.
availability, but I didn't know how long ago it was that the conversation became real. Like John, when you and I talk all the time, you
Correct.
were for years saying, Judy, I really need to move out. I really need to move out. I feel like a kid and I'm not a
Hmm.
kid. So you were
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah.
But didn't you tell me it was a while before you got yourself on a list? You and your
Hmm.
mom got yourself on a list
Correct.
for housing from the county.
Hmm.
And it was a while before you got the call that we
Yes.
have something available.
Yes.
Okay. And that's when I was there at Thanksgiving
Yeah.
when you
Yeah.
got the call.
I remember that. Yeah.
So even though you were looking forward to this, as was your mother,
Yes.
did you become fearful? Like it's now real? Oh my God.
Yeah. Yes. I got like a little bit nervous because it's all like new to me. But once I got used to it, it's not so bad, I think. But like when something at first is scary, you have to try it and see if you like it. If you don't like something, I mean, feel nervous about stuff, you still just try it. And if you don't like it, you can always go home or you can always, decide if you want to live by yourself or something like that. That's why I believe a lot of times that people get scared because that's just nerves. That's just like your head talking and saying, okay, it's scary, but I can do it. But
And most people can do a lot more than they think they can do if they just
mhm,
try, right?
correct,
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
And you knew how to cook some things. I mean, because
Some things, yes. I'm not the world's greatest cook. The microwave is like my best friend. Yeah, I mean, because the microwave's our best friend.
and the
And
restaurants follow.
yes. And like this person that comes in, so I'm going to give you an example. So I'm afraid of the stove because of hot things, okay? And it's a mental thing. It's not like, like it's all in my head. And she said, just try it. We'll cook, and if you get scared, just keep doing it until you get used to doing it. Like she's really good because t she'll I told her that if I can't do something, then I ask for help. I want to do it first. And she lets me do it first. And if I can't do it, I go, can you help me read this on my phone? Because like you said, I have a hard time reading and
Right.
words sometimes don't make any sense.
Right.
But
Right.
it's hard. Spelling is not very good either, but yeah.
It's okay. There are workarounds to this. Like the first time, I think it was last year that I got a text from you. I'm like, wait a minute. This is a text, but it was voice activated.
Yes.
Yeah, and I wasn't ready for that. And I said, oh, this is great. We can text. I texted you back and it was voice activated.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's how I text.
No, this is
That's
really
why
good.
it's good for like I know a lot of people don't like iPhones, but iPhones it's good for people like with disabilities like me and some other people because you talk in it and it writes a sentence for you instead of typing it on the phone. So that's a really good tool that Apple has for the iPhone.
That's interesting because I've used Apple products for
Hmm.
years, and so yes, I agree. It has that feature. I don't know if what's the opposite of iPhones? I mean, they're all smartphones.
Droid.
Thank you. Do they
Droid.
have that? They have that capability,
Yeah,
don't
they do
do
too, but
they?
it's like a different system,
Okay.
but it's the same concept
Okay.
as um as like the iPhone has. But the iPhone, I'm used to the iPhone because that's what I'm used to.
Right
Dro
on.
Droids are very complicated, more complicated than, you know,
Okay.
yes.
Well, all right. So you've always had a job.
Hmm.
You've had several jobs, and you're looking for new employment within walking distance from where you live, and
Hmm.
your aide is going to help you with that, right?
Correct, yes.
But what you've been doing prior to getting the aide on board was walking around the neighborhood,
Yes.
walking in stores, talking to people that work there, learning the
Correct.
store. Can you address that a little bit? Is that
Okay,
kind of to
so
set you up for working?
yeah. So what I do is I go into the like little they're called mom and pop stores. And you first got to say, because you have to be honest with the employer and say, hey, I have a disability. Do you hire anybody with disabilities? Um, is there anything I can do? And sometimes they'll say, we have enough people, or sometimes they'll say, this is volunteer. So I think you want a job that gets paid, like money. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm looking for, but I could. I said, I said, I can do anything you ask me to do. And they said, yeah, but not, some, I mean, some will say not right now or, different things like that nature, basically.
Okay. First of all, for you to take the initiative to do that, I thought that was amazing.
Mhm.
I thought that was amazing because it's very difficult for a lot of people to engage in that type of conversation, to
Correct.
ask.
hmm Because, you have to because they like some employers don't know how to handle people like special needs or Down syndrome or people with autism because they're not around them. They don't know how to handle the situations and how to, you know, work around it, you know. That's why you have to be honest with them and say it up front so they know, you know.
Yes. And so that was to me very amazing that you even did that. And to your point, John, about
Mhm.
employers, there's a lot of people out there that want to embrace people with special needs. I really believe that. They just don't know how. I think employers have to go through some kind of training, and I'm going to think about that, presenting that on this show too, because the more comfortable, as you said, the
hmm
employers are, the more the employers can start thinking creatively about how to engage a special needs person in their business. What do you think?
I think that's a great idea because I think that people need to be aware of there's certain things that we can do and certain things that we can't do. And just to work with us and we can do the tasks. It just takes us longer than a regular person, but we can still do it and thrive in the business world like everybody else, I think. And it's
Let's give another example of something that you did. So during COVID, you were at Giant Eagle. Giant Eagle
Mhm.
is one of the main grocery store chains in Pittsburgh.
Correct.
So people would drive up, they would order their stuff online, and then they would drive up, pick up, and you were one of the people that delivered out to them, right?
Correct.
And what I understand is you engaged in a little conversation, made it a more human experience.
hmm
And that
Absolutely.
and then when people were allowed to come in the store, you started, at least with the elderly, you
hmm
like people like me, at least
Yeah.
with the elderly,
Yeah.
you would literally walk with them and their cart. Even though that wasn't your job, you were a bagger, you stocked shelves, you were customer service, you walked people around the store to find
hmm
things in different aisles, but you also took it upon yourself to walk the people to the car, make sure their groceries got in the car, say everything that you did.
Okay, so like you said, the bagging position, I walked people to the car, um, and I just, and I help them find stuff because older people they can't reach things on the top shelf and not see it. I'm tall, I can reach things for them and stuff like that. And I help them to the car because the groceries for them are heavier. Like when you get to that point where you can't lift, you know. Um,
Like your mother. Kidding.
yeah, I know. And like, and then this is another thing. I would stand there because most of the time, like Django has this policy that you just walk them out and you help them and put the things in. But I would stay there until they got into the car, made sure they backed up, and then I went in the store. And I probably a lot of people remember me doing that because it's the right thing to do because you don't when somebody's elderly, like they can't do things like I can, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like you helping out. It's kind of like they're happy because somebody's actually acknowledging that you're willing to help them with their groceries and putting them on
Right. Okay.
like
It's
that.
just it's taking the time to pay attention to people, which I want to bring out as a skill and talent. That's what I'm really going towards in this. So my whole viewpoint of people working, just in general, whatever job you do should fit your personality, should fit your skills and talents. And then you'll love your job. You'll want to go to work every day because you're using your skills and talents. You have other interesting things, only because, of course, I stay at your house when I'm there and I know you. When
Yes.
grandma was living, my mother, when
Yes.
grandma was living, uh, till 97, huge, huge. She got to a point, and she was in one of the Brookdale buildings, which is a great, I think, a great company. And the building she was in was wonderful. And she went from independent living to assisted living. While she was independent living, though, she still got to a point physically where she couldn't do her own laundry. You happen to love laundry.
I do.
Could you please explain the joy you get out of washing, drying, and folding?
It's like a stress reliever, honestly. It makes me feel calm, like a lot of people take walks or they'll listen to music or they'll draw. I like laundry because it's therapeutic and and you feel like you're accomplished a task. It's like, like something that I love to do is tasks. And I like patterns. So that's why I like laundry so much because it's for me it's like therapeutic and stuff like that.
Well said. And I didn't really understand that until now. I just
Hmm.
knew that, oh my God, when I'm there, John's going to do my laundry. This is fabulous. And it'll be perfectly folded.
Correct.
And if it needs ironing, that'll happen too. So
Yeah.
I knew that. But so as I'm looking at you visiting grandma and making friends with her friends,
Hmm.
there, I thought, there's a lot of people who live in these senior complexes, and some are very expensive complexes that have no family.
Right.
They have money, but they have no family.
Hmm.
And they all have laundry. So
Yeah.
they all need to get what. And so I started thinking about, all right, he's really good with older people. He's very patient,
Hmm.
very kind, very sensitive to their needs.
Hmm.
And he likes doing laundry. So couldn't we package you
Yeah.
to senior living complexes where you would go and visit, be their friends, visit with them and do their laundry?
Yeah. I mean, I would like that. That's a good idea, I think.
I think it's an excellent job for you. And this is the way I think we people as a community and employers
Hmm.
need to think like this. It is our jobs to show an employer how that's financially beneficial to them. I get
Correct.
that, but it
Hmm.
is financially beneficial because here's what I'm thinking. So, a person is ready to sign up and move into a senior living complex, and they really never had kids. They don't have a husband or a wife anymore, but they have plenty of money. And
Hmm.
so they can live well, but who's going to visit them? They have to make friends within the complex. That's fine. But what if they want to go out on their own and do stuff? And so, for somebody who runs a senior living complex, to be able to say to a potential new resident, we have somebody, John McFadden, we
Yes.
have somebody that it can be your friend, can visit with you, but he will come and help you with the laundry
Hmm.
because he loves doing this, and it's probably very difficult for you. I
Yes.
think that would be an excellent selling point. They could mark it up. I mean, whatever they would
Yeah.
charge for your services, they could mark it up to the resident.
Yeah, like like if they went in, so I was thinking, how like when you in a hotel, they have like the bellboys. I've so this is my dream. Two of my dream jobs. I'm going to tell you guys on air. One, I like this store called Hot Topic, which is a fantastic store. I take my aunt there all the time. And the
Meaning
second,
me, the aunt.
yes. And the second thing I always wanted to as a child, wanted to be a bellboy and carry the luggage up to the guest's room in a hotel. And
Wow.
I think because I mean, when like Andrew, when we went to Disney, you know how nice the bellboys were to us, and
Yeah.
it was hot, and but I think it's that's more stressful on the clientele, like the big hotel companies for the guests because they don't want to carry their luggage all the way up to their room, or they have like small child kids, and kids can be too much, but. Um, we'll get, but I mean, those are the two w jobs I've always wanted to work in is a Hot Topic store. I don't even care what I would do.
Okay, so Hot Topics is a chain. It's a
Hmm.
national chain, and it's grunge meets metal. It's
Hmm.
like rock and roller's dream with the
Absolutely.
jewelry and the outfits and the t-shirts. And
Oh yeah.
I personally love shopping in Hot Topics.
Yes.
I love going there. You are service oriented. Now, I didn't
Correct.
know your dream was to become a bellboy. Um, I knew that you were very kind, very aware of people around you that might need help,
Hmm.
very thoughtful. You actually enjoy that.
I do. I do. It gives me a good feeling because like you said, I worked in retail, and I worked in a grocery store. And some of the employees can be rude and nasty to the customers. And that's just to me not right because you treat the customers like you want to be treated, not like, oh, they're just a pain in the butt because they're asking you a question because they don't understand. That's why they're asking you a question. You, you don't get angry at them. You just explain, well, I can't do that because the company, this is how it's done.
Right,
You can't get mad at them for stuff like that. I mean,
right. Not
like if you
everybody has patience. I mean,
no, they
not,
don't.
yeah.
They don't.
And not everybody's customer service oriented either. They do what they
Mhm.
have to do. Like I was in one of our grocery stores over the weekend, Ralph's.
Oh, I love
And
Ralph.
I was on a short time frame. I had many things to do, and I needed to get through the checkout aisle. And the bagger, who was definitely not special needs, but he was the slowest human being known to mankind.
Mhm.
And I'm like, can anybody light a fire under this? I mean, I'm thinking this, I'm not saying it.
Yeah,
Can
yeah.
anybody light a fire under this guy? I'll bag this stuff. Let's get these people through this line. Not his right job. He was
No.
just spaced out. He didn't care. It didn't matter to him that he was really slow. And I mean,
Yeah.
really slow.
Yeah, some of them they just don't care. They just want to leave and collect the paycheck.
But
And
much appreciated by the customers if
mhm.
you're quicker, if first off you know what you're doing and you're quicker. And so that's what anybody listening who's a potential employer here, I want you to start listening to these invaluable um, uh, extensions, personality extensions that can be molded into a job that make people come back to your store.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that statement because I believe that like you do your job, but you also have to be respectful at the same time, and You don't know the other person's situation. Like say people sometimes are in a hurry because they have a doctor's appointment or they have kids they gotta go home and feed or they have somewhere to go or you have to be really good at what you do, but at the same time you have to be more respectful to the people that you're serving. I think because they're the ones that are paying the paycheck that you're getting and they're buying your products,
You're
honestly.
an employer's dream, John. You are actually an employer's dream. You said all the right things. This
Yeah.
is your job application. This episode is your job application
Yes.
because you just did it well. I will finish this section and I want to hit on one other thing before we go. And that is people actually used to tip you, like
Yes.
big tips at
Oh
the
my gosh.
grocery store.
Correct.
I
Like,
had no idea. Like
yeah,
$100
because
tips.
one time I helped this lady, okay, and this is around Christmas time, and she didn't have anything but $100 bill, and she said, "You can have this." Because I don't have anything smaller to give you. This is your Christmas present. I'm like, are you sure that you don't need it for something else? And she goes, no, you've been very kind and I have a lot of money and I just want to do something nice for you because you're working hard during the holidays. So she gave me $100 and I brought it home to my mother and I said, Mom, look, look. She goes, did you take, first she said, did you take it out of your bank account? I'm like, no, I got this a tip. She said, are you serious? And then at the VFW, I got $100 tip at the VFW as well.
Okay, so these people at the VFW, unfortunately, I wish you could still work there.
Yeah.
Gift from God. I mean, these people are the nicest people in the world.
Yeah.
These people actually accommodated the fact that you wanted to be a waiter,
Mm-hmm.
couldn't read, couldn't add, by creating a whole
Here.
new picture menu. Say what Nicole did.
So I have it on my fridge, so I'm gonna bring it over for a reference. Um, uh,
Okay. So while he's doing that, let me just explain. He was between jobs, and somebody in his neighborhood where he just left his mother's house,
mhm.
hooked him up with a job washing dishes at the VFW, and John wanted more. And so he approached Nicole, the manager, to be the
Mhm.
waiter. You take it from here.
All right. So me and Nicole and I and her husband, we all created this menu here. It's a picture menu. It's for people who can't write and can't write things down. So what they do is, okay, like a regular menu doesn't have pictures. They have a bunch of words, right? So I would circle these pictures and then I would draw a line and then she would put these pictures here into the computer and then if the special I would check the star and then that would be the special for the day or
So this,
something.
but okay. See,
Yeah.
this is amazing that they did this. I can't believe this. This was so going the extra mile. This was an employer, first of all, valuing you as a human
Hmm.
being
Hmm.
and
Yes.
wanting to help you and advance you. And they wanted to support that. Yes, you'll make a little more money as a waiter. It's
Mhm.
certainly a better job than being a dishwasher. Not that
Absolutely.
dishwashing isn't important, it is, but
It
it's a
is.
stepping stone job. It's not
Yes.
an end all and be all. And you were asking for more, and
Hmm.
they met you where you were. Okay,
Correct.
John.
Yes. So that's what we did for people like me. Because and then because she another customer when I quit, they said my child is autistic and he wants to work. And I showed her, I said, this is a picture menu because some of the artistic people they don't talk, they can't, it's like a
Yeah.
wider respect. I said, so Nicole and her husband and I put together this menu and then all he would have to do is just circle it or put what topping or whatever, and then check it off. And it'd be the most easiest thing for somebody that can't communicate or can't write things down or,
Correct.
things like that.
Absolutely. And so I want to finish with communicating. So the key here, first of all, you were raised to be independent. So you were out. Your mother encouraged a social life. You worked. And so you could be in society. The last thing I want to say, and this is so very important for everybody who has a special needs child, and if anybody's listening who is in the special needs category, you must speak up for yourself.
Mhm.
You must speak up for yourself. You must say what you want and what you don't want. And what we were talking about, John, on the weekend, I said, well, how's it going with the aide? Because there's a turnover in aides.
Mhm.
AIDS, not
Yes,
AID,
yes.
not there's a high turnover. Just I guess they don't maybe people don't get paid enough. They're not in the right job for them, that kind of thing. But when you said to me that your aide, somebody who was with you about a week or so ago, was on her cell phone making
Hmm.
personal calls in the time assigned to you,
Hmm.
you said that you were reluctant to say anything. And I took that as that's your nice side. And do you remember what I said?
You have to. You gotta speak up for yourself because you don't want people to take advantage. Well, you didn't say that, but you don't want people to take advantage of you.
No, you're absolutely right. That's the reason you don't want people to take advantage of you.
Mm. Mm-mm.
And they will,
They
because,
will.
and this is the thing, even people who work in the field
Hmm.
will take advantage of the people they're serving.
Correct.
They'll take advantage of you, special needs. What does it matter? It
Mhm.
matters.
It does. They're paid to do a service. They're not paid to sit on the phone and do personal things on the phone. Like that's why this new person is so it's she's so fantastic. So,
Good.
um, this new person, she we like today we socialized the whole time. We went out to lunch, and she said, "John, how do you feel me working with you?" I said, "I think you're great." And she asked me questions. She said, I'm here for you. I'm not going to be on my phone but you, you have to speak up when you have an aide that doesn't do their job, you have to say something about it.
And anywhere, you simply have to speak up
Hmm.
for yourself. If you feel that somebody is not appropriate, treating you appropriately for whatever
Hmm.
the situation is that you're in, you're very nice about it, but you
Yeah.
just have to say, well, can you please focus on me? In
Hmm.
your situation, she's on the phone doing personal things, this other person. Um, or I'm talking, I need you to listen so you understand what I'm saying.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you have to
You
speak. And
have
I
to,
think
yeah,
you
you have to do it because these services, some people are good and some people are bad. It depends.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
actually right.
Mhm.
And so you're no, just to recap, you're no longer scared. You're more
No,
comfortable being in your environment.
correct.
Your mother is 15 miles away.
Hmm.
So that's cool. You're not in a different state or city.
No, no.
So she's 15 miles away. So if you really needed help immediately, you're there. You know
Mhm.
how to use your phone.
Absolutely.
You have a medical alert or some kind of thing. You
Yep,
will.
I will. Not yet.
Okay, not yet, but you will. You will.
Not yet, but I do have a pull cord. You know what a pull cord is?
No.
So, okay, remember when Grandma was in Brookdale? So when you fall, you pull the cord, and there's a light
Got
that
it.
is right by my door, and they can find the apartment
Okay, good.
number. Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, that's something, that's something that you can use. So I think this is wonderful. We're going to come back to you shortly because I want to go on your journey with you looking for work. And I'm kind of hoping that through our conversations, and maybe you can tell people to watch the show.
Oh,
this
I
YouTube
have like
show.
so what I did, I have a caseworker named Candace. So I said we have a podcast that we're helping people with disabilities, and my mom sent it to her, and then this girl named Rachel that works at Liking Home Care, that's the other service. She watched it and she said she liked the show and she wanted to know if we could if she could send it to other people, like other people. And I said, well, I have to talk to
Oh,
the
no, it's on the internet, of course.
yeah, yeah.
It's
And
available to the public.
yeah. So that's what I did. I said, and then the people, just to be aware because a lot of like parents, a lot of people that have these services and these special needs kids, you don't have to be afraid to use the services in your area. I mean, sometimes they're good services and sometimes they're bad services. You just gotta try it. And you just gotta just move on with your life because it just is it they're there to serve you and not like if because a lot because if we haven't had these services before, I wouldn't have done what I've done now, honestly, to be honest, because and I'm much happier. Like, I mean, yes, it's scary at first, but then you realize, no, this is what you do when you're an adult. Like you actually have to pay bills, and you actually have to your rent has to be due on this, and there's certain places that you can go, and some places that you can't go, and certain things that you can do. You just have to take advantage of the services in each county. I mean, that's what the parents need to be aware of. There's resources that they have. All you gotta do is connect with them, and they're more than happy to do it.
Absolutely. Well
Hmm.
said, John. Well said.
Hmm.
You have to move forward with your life. You have to take advantage of opportunities around you, and you have to create your own opportunities.
Correct.
All of them.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, this has been a marvelous time. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much for
You're
this.
welcome.
And we will be back and we're going to do another episode and we're going to look at where you're at in a week or two with
Yes.
things you've experienced and
Hmm.
accomplishments. So thank you,
Yes.
honey.
You're
Always good
welcome.
talking to you.
Yes.
And this is John. You've been listening to my nephew, John McFadden, and this is Aunt Judy signing off.
Yes.